Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
So, I'm kind of wondering, is there still that echo thing going on? All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we're going to talk about some incompetent MFers. These people, which we already knew, but holy smokes. Oh, there was no echo on the intro thing? Okay, that's good. That's new. I'm trying to figure out how to make that stuff stop happening. Anyway, hope you're having a wonderful day. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, the 17th of July, 2024. Welcome to the show. If you haven't already done so, why not just hit that like button now and then share the stream, because the more the merrier. We are a band of merry men. That's opposed to gay. Anyway, let's get it started. First, thank you, Avocados Diablo, starting the show off early with a donation of $3. And you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. I'm coming in monochrome. Am I? Really? What the hell's going on there? We'll have to figure out that setting. Anyway, AD says, listen to the RNC convention speeches last night, and fucking hell, that Trump baby song sung to the tune of Ice Ice Baby was the cringiest thing I think I've ever heard in a long time. Yeah, I thank God I missed that. I don't know. The conventions tend to be cringy, you know. They're kind of a low rent nerd prom. You know, Nerd Prom is actually the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but the conventions are always kind of schlocky and goofy, and I think they need to learn not to do that kind of stuff, but they'll never learn. So it is what it is. Again, thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. By the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee in the Grandpa Cup, established 2 years ago when my great, beautiful, lovely granddaughter was born. And the coffee's not bad either. Let's say hi to people who are here and get the show on the road, because there's a lot to talk about. Mostly about the incompetence, though. If you saw my little short video that I did, oh, there it is. Let me see if I can fix this. Is there a way to make that fit on the screen? Yes, there is. There we go. Let's try that. There. I see. I've got one. I've got one up there now. I've got the AD is now the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Oh, shit. What the hell did I do there? Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see, I wanted this one, and I want to make it just a tiny bit bigger. I don't know. If yours is going to be the longest name up there, we'll never know. But we'll try it for now. We'll see if that stays, if that fits. I might have to put it down at the bottom. Oh, that would make more sense, wouldn't there? There's a lot more room down there. How about we put this down at the bottom? Oops, what the hell did I just do? Is that the alert box? No, what is that? What is that? Socials. I don't want my socials up there. Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. There we go. Now, can I move that? Let's move it down here. Then we can stretch it out. See, I'm still reeling a little bit from the problems I've been having with the show. It's only going to be on this page for now, but there you go. Now, let's move it down there. Okay, let's say hi to everybody and get this thing started. First in the chat today, of course, is not unusual. Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. People seem to be very happy about that. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Willie is in the house. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Unacceptable views, Tex AG, Evan. Good morning, Maddie's in the house. I hope you're feeling well. Good morning also to Ricky Ravioli. Wow, welcome back. It's been a while. Nice to have you here. Also, good morning. Number one is in the house. Amazing Disgrace and Lord Stanhope are here. Balin Bobby's here. Good morning. Anybody? Rock Opera, my bro from down under. Welcome, sir. Nice to see you. And that's it for now. There's more rolling in slowly, but we'll just go ahead and do some trending stuff. Now I made a list. Let's see, maybe I better open that. I need to go back into my saved videos. I saved a video because I wanted to talk about some of the inconsistencies regarding the incident over the weekend. And the more that comes out, the more I am like, what the actual hell are you all doing over there? And I almost am coming to the conclusion that some of these issues may, dare I say it, just may have been on purpose. There's no way that this event happened the way they're talking. Hello, JB, welcome. And there are, first of all, there should be some heads rolling, and I mean as in resignations, not literally for you idiots on MSNBC. The incompetence of this operation, and is it magical incompetence or is it planned incompetence? You would have to plan this to be such a bad situation, operation, whatever you want to call it. All of the mistakes that were made. I cannot believe, first of all, the director of the Secret Service still has a job. I cannot believe that the Department of Homeland Security director isn't being grilled in front of multiple congressional committees. And there's also information that there may have been, and this is not speculation, this is just news reports saying that there may have been an additional individual involved with the pew-pew. Now, it's all because of some local news stations that mentioned it, not because I'm peddling in conspiracy theories. But I do want to watch there's a congressman, and I'm trying to find it right now. It's in my, let's see, playlist. Oh, here we go. Playlist for watch later. Watch later list. There it is. On my watch later list here. Oh my God. That's not. What the hell? Oh, here it is. This is it right here. I want to show you this interview with the GOP lawmaker on This Is CNN. And then we're going to go through some articles on what's happening with this. Some of the incompetence of these people. It's amazing. So let's start with, did I say hi to everybody? Yes, I did. I said hi to everybody who's here. No new people yet. So let's get into, let's start with a couple things that are trending because, okay. And I don't have a complete list here, but I was looking through, here it is. Let's see, open this. Sorry. Give me a second. I don't have tabs open yet because I got home here so late and I wanted to get the show started earlier than it would have taken me had I done all the tabs already. But I did make a list of things. Oh, Marty, come on, get your shit together. Hang on. It's on X. That's why I didn't even do it on my normal list spot. All right, here we go. By the way, thanks for people who are sharing the stream already. I'm glad to, I'm glad you have done that for me. What the hell did I do with it? Hang on. I am so sorry. This is terrible. This is not good programming. I know. I realize that. All right. So let's go. Let's start with just a few of the things that are trending. I'm going to do it like this. First, Home Depot is trending. Oh, by the way, happy Hump Day. Hump Day is trending. And the Hump Day, I was trying to figure out how many tweets I'd have to scroll down before I wouldn't be able to put on the screen. So I'm counting 1, good. 2's okay. 3's okay. The 4th one's okay. And then this last one is some, I wouldn't say elderly lady, but lady of advanced age showing her butt. So it took me 5 to get to one that I can't scroll down to. So there you go. I'm not going to put it on the screen. Also, it is it's World Emoji Day. So I see number 1 is participating in World Emoji Day by dropping an emoji in the chat. And good morning, TC, by the way. And Patio Furniture. So drop some emojis in the chat because it's World Emoji Day. And for whatever reason, something went wrong here. Hopefully this one that pops up isn't one that not supposed to put on the screen. Elon Musk changed the like button, hit the like button, and see the magic. I have no idea what that works. Well, let's see what happens when I hit the like button. Nothing. Okay, we're going to unlike it. So anyway, it's World Emoji Day. I'm sure you're excited about that. It is also, why are all these things fucked up? It's also National Hot Dog Day, which I'm afraid to put on the screen right now. Hey, whoa, stop. Don't put it on the screen because you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, guess what? Okay, World Hot Dog Day. World Hot Dog Day. Now, who do you think has the most prominent post on World Hot Dog Day on my Twitter feed, my X feed, the app formerly known as Twitter? None other than PETA. PETA has the top post, and here it is. PETA says their entire lives were stolen for a 20-minute meal. Remember their faces this National Hot Dog Day. Hey, dipshits, they're pigs. And yes, they are beings on this earth that generally are consumed by other animals anyway. So I don't know that many pigs live forever out in the wild. And if they make a good hot dog, I'm not going to fret over it. I wish I was that sensitive. But whatever. Someone here says the cooking never stops. Let's talk about why Algorand is a top dog on National Hot Dog Day. What is this? Algorand, the atomic swaps, which lets two people trade different cryptocurrencies or tokens without getting cheated, like the scenario here. We pioneered atomic swaps. Okay, I don't know why that's on the National Hot Dog thing. And here's another one. Oh, this sad pig, animal justice. This National Hot Dog Day, behind every hot dog is a story of immense suffering. This footage from Animal Justice expose at a typical pig farm in Ontario. Well, this is a typical pig farm in Ontario, narrated by whatever. So there's people out there tripping because it's National Hot Dog Day and they want to talk about their vegan lifestyles. And frankly, I don't give a shit. All right, enough about National Hot Dogs Day. Thank you, Avocado Diablo, dropping another tray in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Avocado Staley says, I am hesitant to say any of this was planned or allowed to happen. To do that would require some level of intelligence, and I don't think anyone involved in this has any. Well, that's a very good point. That's a spot on point. Thank you, Avocado Staley. All right, moving on. Other things happening. Home Depot's trade. Now, this is a trend I noticed on X, and some people are complaining about cancel culture today. And so that's one of the topics that I was supposed to breach today. And so Home Depot is trending because of one of their employees posted something that really wasn't cool. And I'm seeing a lot of this on X, where a lot of people are losing their jobs over some of the shit they're saying about the potential or attempted assassination of a former president of the United States. So Libs of TikTok says, breaking Home Depot confirmed this person is no longer an employee. And here's what she's talking about. So this is at a Home Depot, and this lady I guess she was working, and someone asked her about her opinion maybe. Let's see what this is. I'll go full screen on this. Let's go there. There we go. Let's see this video here.
Are you Darcy Waldron? Yeah?
Waldron, yeah.
Okay, from Cayuga?
Oh.
And you think that the shooter should have been a better shot? Is that what you posted on Facebook?
Oh, this is one of these people who posted that.
You think that the shooter should have been a shooter, huh?
I am at work.
Yeah, I think that's pretty messed up. Pretty anti-American, if you ask me. As a veteran, I'm disgusted. What have you provided to this country? Huh?
Okay,
I'm
this is
sorry.
someone who confronted her at her work.
This is ridiculous.
So anyway, she's one of many people who've done this on Twitter, on Facebook, on various social media platforms where they're like, well, I told you yesterday, I have a relative that he posted on Facebook that day. Fuck, he missed because he's a way out there left Democratic person and thought that was appropriate to post on Facebook. Now I don't want my relative to be fired from anything, although I think he's retired now anyway. But we saw a lot of that over the last few days. So anyway, this person, let's see, Darcy Walden Pinckney make this woman famous. Home Depot. So here's what she had posted on Facebook. Too bad they weren't a better shooter. Okay. And I it's funny. People on the left are always talking about hate. I would say that would be that'd be almost pure hate, that you hope that somebody was ended over some politics. And so, but I saw it everywhere. And so there's all kinds of examples of people being fired from jobs. Apparently they found this woman though and found where she worked and confronted her. And now Home Depot says this individual's comments don't reflect the Home Depot or our values. We can confirm she no longer works at the Home Depot. Now, we don't know if she left because people found her or she got fired, whatever, but she's no longer at Home Depot. And as I scroll through this, there's a lot of people posting that video. The story keeps getting more bizarre. Oh, here's something about this too. And I'm just going to be kind of doing some random readings from some of these posts, but here's one. The story keeps getting more bizarre. CNN is reporting crooks bought 50 rounds of ammo, a 12-foot ladder from Home Depot, and walked a mile to the rally with his father's AR, the ammo, and the ladder in tow. Nobody noticed or stopped him. I'm telling you, this story gets crazier and crazier. Everything new that comes out about it. So he carried now a 12-foot ladder. That means it could have been like, I have this portable ladder that folds up into a carryable ladder kind of, and it's actually a 24-foot ladder. But this is a secured perimeter. Remember the Pac-Man perimeter thing I showed you yesterday and the day before? That this guy is carrying a ladder and he's got a bag with an AR and 50 rounds, and he walks right into the perimeter and ends up climbing the building that is housing the local police who are supposed to be securing that area. He gets up on the roof, and then and while he's on the roof, people are pointing out that he has a gun, and so an officer goes up there and he scares the officer away with a gun, and then seconds later he shoots a 150-yard shot, nearly a headshot of the former president of the United States, like a Call of Duty game. An inexperienced 20-year-old shooter who his friends say he didn't get in the gun club because he's not a very good shot, but he pinpoints this shot. If Donald Trump hadn't moved in the second that he did, would be ended right now. Does this sound like a scenario that makes sense to anyone? Has anyone ever shot a weapon before? Have you shot any kind of a rifle at more than 50 yards? Because it's hard to hit a target if you're not experienced at 50 yards. And this guy got off 3 or 4 rounds, a handful of rounds. This makes zero sense. Marty, look up the Minutes of Horror video about Maxwell Yerix, JFC. Hello, GDSOB, by the way, and Shrapnel's in the house. Nice to have you here. Ty Alexander's in the house. Also, Dolomite is in the house. What up, Dolomite? Trump had the "which way did you go, George?" security crew when we see more details come out. Yeah, it's insane what is happening with this. So let me get to a couple other things that are trending, then we'll move on to the main event here. Peter Navarro, the Trump's, I don't know what he was in Trump's team, but he is about to leave prison today and appear at the Republican National Convention. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, Navarro will be free today after Biden's Department of Justice put him in prison for contempt of Congress. Now, it's funny because the Department of Justice, the head of the Department of Justice, a.k.a. Merrick Garland, is right now also in contempt of Congress, but, the Justice Department is not going to prosecute themselves. So this is Simon Ateba, the African correspondent and the White House correspondent, or formerly at least. The question, why isn't Merrick Garland being sentenced to prison after we voted for the exact same thing? The weaponized justice system is only aimed at Trump and his supporters. So Peter Navarro is going to be out and speaking at the Republican National Convention. That's crazy. Also, Secret Service is under investigation for Trump's rally security lapses. The Department of Homeland Security Inspector General has initiated an investigation into the U.S. Secret Service handling of a security for former President Donald Trump during a rally in Pennsylvania where an assassination attempt occurred. The probe aims to assess the Secret Service's response and management of security measures on the day of that incident. Why investigate what? I can give you a brief synopsis of what this report from the Homeland Security Inspector General should say. In fact, it's pretty much a simple statement that is all they have to make. They sucked. And it seems as though this may have been, it had to be intentional. You cannot be this bad. That's it. So anyway, other things trending. Biden calls for an AR-15 ban after the Trump assassination attempt. Well, shocker. President Biden has called for a ban on assault weapons, specifically mentioning the AR-15 rifle. Now remember, they didn't, what's funny about that? They said that the young man had an AR-15 style, quote unquote, rifle. An AR-15 style rifle. Now, I don't know what that means. So it wasn't an AR-15? Actually, at 150 yards too, AR-15s aren't necessarily made for shooting that far out. I mean, you can. Obviously, you can shoot 150 yards out. But it's not the most accurate platform unless you have a longer barrel type thing. But, it's not like a sniper rifle. And the accuracy of that shot from a 20-year-old inexperienced gun handler is amazing. Now, we'll get into some other details because I know you've heard a bunch of stuff, so we're going to get to it. But anyway, shocker, Biden's going to make about gun control. Now, what is this? That's last year's NAACP convention. Break it. Oh, this was a speech at the NAACP. Oh, my God. He randomly started screaming about guns again during his speech at the NAACP. Joe Biden, we're going to speak about guns. More children in America die of gunshot wounds than any other reason. That's stunning and that's sick. So here is Biden screaming about that.
We're going to speak about violence. We're going to speak about guns. More children in America die of a gunshot wound than any other reason. That's stunning and that is sick. We're going to speak about violence.
So he's Joe's out there screaming like a madman again. Let's see. So that's that. Anything else I want to talk about in the trending stuff? I want to get to the main topics today. So there you go. Cancel culture. Now cancel culture critics. Now cancel critics. This is interesting. Apparently there's a discussion around the perceived hypocrisy of those who previously criticized cancel culture but are now engaged in similar actions. The debate centers on whether cancel culture is justified in certain contexts, such as when comments are deemed offensive or promote violence. Some argue that cancel culture is inherently wrong, while others suggest it can be a necessary tool for holding people accountable. The broader implications of cancel. Okay, so here's the problem. A lot of these assholes who are saying, yeah, Trump deserved to be killed, are getting fired. Now, here's now we talked about, remember we showed that Tenacious D clip? Well, here's the article in the New York Post. Kyle, whatever his name is from Tenacious D, he got axed, and I don't mean asked a question, but as in axed as in someone took an axe to his career, by the talent agency after inappropriate Trump shooting context. Kyle Gass is facing immediate consequences for making controversial comment, easy for me to say, about the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump. The Tenacious D musician, 64, has been dropped by his talent agency, Green Talent. Michael Green, who was Gass's rep, confirmed to the Post Tuesday that he's no longer working with the singer. Well, singer, he doesn't sing much. He plays guitar, and he's a good guitarist. On Sunday, Gass and his bandmate Jack Black were performing at the ICC Sydney Theatre in Australia. Black, 54, presented Gass with a birthday cake on stage and asked him to make a wish. And Gass said, "Don't miss Trump next time." Now, I'm pretty sure the tour got canceled too, if I've heard right. The comment, which was made one day after Trump was shot at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, triggered widespread backlash on social media. Users on X called Gass's remarks shameful, deplorable, and indefensible. In response, Gass and Black both spoke out in separate statements. Gass apologized for his comment about Trump, calling it highly inappropriate, dangerous, and a terrible mistake. He said, "I do not condone violence of any kind in any form against anyone." He added in his Instagram message, "What happened was a tragedy, and I'm incredibly sorry for my severe lack of judgment. I profoundly apologize to those who I've let down and truly regret the pain I have caused." Black's statement revealed that Tenacious D canceled the rest of its shows on the Spicy Meatball Tour. The Kung Fu Panda star told the Post that he was blindsided by Gass's comment at their concert and would never condone hate speech encouraging political violence in any form. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see something here. Let's play this clip real quick. Where's the clip? Where is it? Is this it? Is this? Oh, you know what? Nope. That's just a screenshot. I'm pretty sure Jack Black chuckled heartily when Gass said that. I got that little X'd out going right now. So anyway, so back. Okay, so there you go. And then let's see what else is going on. I think that's enough. But there's a lot of, like, one of the daily Krassentines I was going to do today was he was mad, or not mad, but he was complaining that people who used to complain about cancel culture are happy that some of these people are losing their jobs and whatnot for saying what they said about the former president of the United States. And because he's saying, oh, well, all you people who are constantly talking about free speech, because Destiny, you know who Destiny is? Destiny was saying some shitty things about the guy who died, that got killed in that incident. And apparently, Destiny has lost his position on Kick, which is another streaming platform or whatever. And people are, and Krastenstein's like, well, I thought you people believed in free speech. Yeah, we do. But Kick is known for, pardon the pun, kicking people off their platform for things they say. But, if X did it or Rumble, then I would be like, hey, it's a shitty thing to say, but you can still, they should be on your platform if you're a free speech platform. But whatever. All right, enough of the trending topics. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, dropping another tray in the tip jar. Appreciate it very much. Who says, there is a marked difference between being fired for something you said today and something you said years ago that was perfectly acceptable at the time, but people have dug up. That is true too. That is true. And that's really what a lot of people were, they would, like, for example, some kid, back when they were 11 were singing rap lyrics, and then they get into a school and someone brings up the fact that they used an N-bomb that was as they were singing along with some rap lyrics, and then they get unaccepted to that university. That's the kind of shit that, that was going on before. I don't know. I'm pretty disgusted by the people who are saying, oh my gosh, you missed. I wish you would have hit him. I wish you would have died. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. All right. Now, I wanted to get into, speaking of which, I wanted to get into this, the oddities, the strange things that are happening, and happened to come across this interview on This Is CNN. And I can't remember this. Who's this? Corey Mills. Corey Mills is a congressman, but he also used to be a military sniper. And he has some thoughts on what was going on with this supposed secure perimeter by the Secret Service et al. And so I want to show, we're going to go through this interview real quick, and then we'll go into a couple articles about it too. So let's start with this. Chris Mills on This Is CNN. Good morning, Selector Boy. How you doing? Yeah, boy. Did I say I had a GDSOB? And C. Thomas in the house. Penis. Thank you. Thank you, C. Thomas. All right, let's watch this interview. Representative Corey Mills. And I also want you to note, now I've seen this video. Okay, I've seen this video. I want to not only listen to what Corey Mills is saying, but I also want you to take note of what the interviewer does. Because the interviewer is very interesting here. Almost protective of certain aspects of what happened. So let's go. This is an interview with and if you haven't seen Corey Mills, he put a video out a couple days ago talking about how this is not an accident. Or it doesn't seem like an accident. It seems like a very intentional breach or lack of preparation. So here we go.
We go up as a counter sniper. We put together what we call range fans for our range card. We usually keep it right next to us. It's an overlay of the area, usually a satellite image, and it has our 100-yard line, our 200-yard line, our 300-yard line, and we identify the buildings and the areas for potential threat in those so that when you do identify a threat, you don't have to actually what they call milling out, which is to determine the distance.
Before he continues, I want you to notice something in this picture that they put on the screen. This is CNN. Put this picture on the screen. Notice the pitch of the roof, which the police snipers and whatever these people are, notice the pitch of the roof that they are located on, because this has come up about the Department of Homeland, or excuse me, the Secret Service head, who is not even Secret Service experienced, had a reason why the local police were not on the roof, which this young man got on. Anyway, here we go.
Of that actual target, you have it within your range fan. You can quickly glance down and say roughly 200, and you can dial your elevation, look at your windage, make your call, and then fire your shot. Look, at 230 yards, which is what this is being estimated by, we have to bear in mind something. An AR-15, or any rifle of that matter, has what they call minutes of angle, which means what the capability of the rifle is. A standard rifle, which is a basic rifle's capabilities, is 1 MOA, which means for every 100 yards is 1-inch grouping capabilities. You're talking about that at 230 yards, the average shooter could actually point at a target, fire 5 to 6 rounds, and somewhere within that group would be about a 2.3-inch grouping at 230 yards.
230
The average
yards.
life-size man target is a 20 by 40, 20 shoulder to shoulder, 40 waist to head. President Trump obviously is a much larger guy. He's a much taller guy. So it is by miracle and divine intervention that he is not killed today. And so
now that may be due to the fact that the shooter wasn't a great shooter, or the idea that shooter who is very inexperienced could even get a shot close to Donald Trump from that distance is amazing to me. But then again, we'll see. 230 yards, I don't know where that came from. I thought it was 150 yards. That's what I always heard. But anyway, listen to what he's saying, though, about the security around this.
So there was a failure in the breach of security. I will identify that immediately. I will tell you that we always take the high ground for your overwatch positions. You always look at what the ability is to see the crowd so that you can mitigate threats at an elevated position. And one of the areas why you look at high angle fire shooting is also the direction and trajectory of the bullet itself. It's not like shooting at a flat trajectory where you have over penetration and can get other individuals. This is going to eventually just hit into the ground. So the oversight on this is that you're talking about 230 yards, which is nothing for a shot, adjacent to the stage of the president And there was no one on that building. No one, even if you're not going to put anyone on the building, standing next to the building to ensure there's no access to the building. So I'm glad that the speaker is going to do an investigation on this because I think that it's warranted. I think that I applaud again what the Secret Service detail had done, what the Counter Sniper CS team has done. But I will tell you, this is a massive security breach, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and we can show on the screen too. So this is first of all, we're looking at a map here, or we were looking at a map. And if we could bring up, there's imagery of the shooter, deceased shooter, on the top of a rooftop, just to kind of give people some context of what we're looking for here.
Hello, Keisha. Hello.
But to just sort of, Congressman,
sure.
like
Reaction on Puerto Rico.
dig in on this, there were also reports, and we
Now, stop again. Now, look at this roof. This is a shooter, the shooter blurred out. This is the roof the shooter was on. Now, remember the roof before, the one we just showed you with that had police on it? That was a pitched roof also. It wasn't a flat roof. It had a slight slant to it. Is that really much different than this particular roof? Because the director of the Secret Service says the reason they weren't on that roof is because it was slanted. She sounds like an idiot and she should be fired. Anyway.
We have some information coming into CNN this morning that somebody was seen going roof to roof. There was an eyewitness that talked to the BBC about trying to warn people.
Yeah, there's people taking video of the guy and yelling at the police. There's someone on the roof with a gun. And the fact that this guy got within 1,000 yards of that stage carrying a ladder, an AR-15, and 50 rounds of ammo in a supposedly secured perimeter is, I'm trying not to swear, fucking insane. It's so implausible that this was not, I don't want to be conspiracy theory. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. It's insane.
Yes.
About this, I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying this was an incredibly significant
This is a very
failure.
significant security breach. And this is why it's so important.
And she seems perplexed by that idea. Listen to her, how she said that.
To me, like you're saying this was an incredibly significant.
Go back.
There was an eyewitness that talked to the BBC about trying to warn people about this. I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying this was an incredibly significant
This is a very
failure.
significant security breach. And this is why.
Why is she, how could it be anything but a significant failure? How could it be anything but that? That's what I don't get. Why is she confused by that idea? It sounds like you're saying this is a failure. And the other part too, so they saw the guy. Oh, by the way, now we know that they saw him an hour, at least 30 minutes before the shooting too. And nothing. And when people were saying that there's someone on the roof, the officer went up to, try to confront him, and he pointed the gun and scared the officer away, and the officer fell. And then seconds later, he shoots his shots. I mean, how long does it take to line up your shot? Because remember, this officer went up there, he pointed the gun at the officer went back down and then fell, and not even a few seconds later, he got his shots off. Like, to shoot 150 yards or 230, whatever it is, even 100 yards, if you're shooting from the length of a football field and you got to shoot something, to hit it accurately, you need a few seconds to get your sight on the target. It's not like, this is not, Mission Impossible where the guy he takes care of the bad guy and then gets his target again and shoots it right away. This is an inexperienced kid with a gun. So, let's continue.
It's so important not only to ensure that presidential candidates and others had the necessary resources on their details and not to try and save money by trying to cut or deny resource and details. Look, you're talking about even, Kennedy himself, who's running right now, has denied his own detail. I mean, he was supposed to get a security detail as a presidential nominee, or for an independent party, but he didn't even get an actual. And you're talking about a guy who lost his dad and his uncle. So it is serious when you talk about security breaches and you talk about the apparatuses that are being utilized. And so I would just stress the fact that not only do I see this as a massive security breach, but also we have to play into a part of, you have to work with your local law enforcement departments, you have to work in with other agencies and coordinate to ensure that at a minimum,
It's still the Secret Service's
you have a local law enforcement
ball.
officer at that location where that building is to ensure that no one can gain access to a higher ground location. That in itself could have prevented this actual shooting.
Congressman, you also said that you spoke with Eric Trump last night. Can you tell us a little bit about how the family is coping and what else you spoke about?
Well, I'm not going to go into kind of my conversation with him, but I will just stress the fact that he felt very strongly, one, about the excellent job that the Secret Service has done. One of the females that was actually corralling around the president to try and get him was actually on his detail whenever he was on Eric's, and said that she's absolutely phenomenal, as well as for the fact that the gentleman that's just to the right in the picture there right now, Eric said these are some of the most loyal, most dedicated, most committed individuals that you'll ever find. And, he is continue to provide accolades, and even to the CS teams, the counter sniper teams, to say these are the guys who are the best of the best. I've shot with them. I've seen what they do, whether it be at Quantico, whether it be at Meade, wherever be the case. But his concern is that he definitely said, Corey, if that was you or I, this would have been a whole different story. And we just have to be thankful for the fact that through divine intervention, through a very luck where literally milliseconds and millimeters matter, that this didn't end up a lot worse. And so obviously I know it's very shaking and rattling for the children of President Trump, also for those around him. But
now this may not be the part of the interview that I wanted to do, but I'm going to go through this whole thing anyway. So I'm going to keep up the commentary, but if they get to the part that I'm talking about, where she seems completely incredulous that this could be anything but what the government tells you. By the way, when they say they're going to have, well, at least the president the other night on his address to the nation from the Oval Office said that he'd talked to the FBI and the Secret Service and they will investigate it with an independent investigation. I don't want to hear the FBI. I don't want to hear the Secret Service. I only want to hear the maybe the Inspector General or whatever of that department, and maybe an independent investigation. Because let's just remember, the FBI, people are saying, oh, you can't think of a conspiracy. There's no way that they, that it's possible that anyone in the government could have done anything, whatever. Really? Because I remember a certain kidnapping plan of a certain governor in this country that was fully orchestrated by the FBI. And they got some guys put in jail because they conned them into joining them. So don't tell me. Oh, and by the way, that Kennedy, remember that he's just mentioned Robert Kennedy. Remember the Kennedy's uncle, the guy that was in the Suicide Continental, driving down through Texas, and now there's hints that it may have been a government agency that may have been involved in that one. Yeah, don't give me that shit. Remember the 50 intelligence officers in 2020 who all got together, or excuse me, 51 intelligence officers, former intelligence officers, and several still contracting with the federal government. Remember then they said that a certain laptop was probably just some Russian disinformation? Yeah, remember when that former president with the funny hair, remember he was going into office and they said he was a Russian agent and had collusion with Russia? Yeah, remember that? So don't tell me that there aren't people in the government who will try just about anything. And again, a lot of these people hate Donald Trump. So please don't just shut the fuck up if you think I'm not peddling a conspiracy theory, but I'm telling you, there are so many holes in this story so far. And also, there's people who are talking about another shooter now. Several interviews from local stations have talked about that. Hopefully I'll get to that today. But anyway.
This is a time, and I like what you said in our earlier segment. This is a time that is not about partisanship right now. This is not a Democrat, Republican, conservative, socialist. This is an American issue where we just saw a massive security breach that could have resulted in the assassination of President Trump. And we have to take this very seriously, and we cannot in any way utilize dangerous rhetoric, which is going to continue to amplify things. We need to actually hit the cool down button right now and understand that America is better than this, and that we have to continue to pray for all of our candidates and all those who are running for office, because we put ourselves out there. You know, I've had death threats while I've been running. I've had people who, when I go into certain events, I have my, you know, Seminole County police officers, the sheriff's office, or the Volusia Sheriff's
Lord
office, who
Samuel.
has actually had to be there because they want to make sure they're responding. This is a time that we need to take it down a notch, and so we have to start looking at how do we utilize the RNC convention that I'm heading to today at around noon. How do I use that platform to be able to try and say, look, let's take it down a notch and understand what this is really about. It's about unification. It's about ensuring the safety and security of America. It's about getting America back to its greatness and where we were. And so this is a very pivotal point.
I'm going to open up to questions from the panel here in just a second, but I also do want to ask you, you are a sniper yourself. You have been a sniper yourself. How good was this guy as a shot?
He wasn't, and that was the thing that saved the president. The bottom line is that I can tell you with absolute certainty, if you put me at 200 yards, you know, we were trained that anything within 300 yards and in, you would only do what they call hollow T's, which is here and here. That is your only mark in which you're actually aiming and shooting for. Anything beyond that, you basically do a center mass shot. When you're talking 230 yards, I will tell you that I can look on target, get on target, and then close my eyes and pull the trigger and still hit a man-sized target silhouette all day long.
Yeah, so that's what you were saying before. One second. That's what you were saying before when you said if it was you shooting or Eric Trump shooting, that this
or
would have
anyone
been,
who had true
anyone
experience.
who was actually experienced, that's what would have happened.
That
Sorry,
was my
Elliot, go
question.
ahead.
It's just you're a sharpshooter.
That's interesting, because his friends say he was not very good with guns. So maybe it is true it's because he wasn't good that he didn't hit Donald Trump.
Are we holding? You see what I'm getting at? It's
The average shooter can.
I still wonder though, were all the shots from that gun? Because the reports now say that there was like 7 or 8 different shots, but they came from different guns, based on the audio ballistic sounds. So that's interesting.
average shooter could have been able to do that. Okay.
I can put anyone on this panel onto an actual range,
Right.
dial in exactly where it needs to be, and in some cases not even dial in the elevation, just tell you go ahead and see the crosshairs and aim at your target,
Right.
and I will tell you 9 out of 10 times you're going to hit that target.
Right.
Terrifying.
I think, having done advance as well, there's such a relationship between the advance team
Absolutely.
and the Secret Service in
Well, the
figuring
advance team
out
fucked up,
where can
and the Secret Service
candidate be?
fucked up.
Where's the counter assault team going to be?
Where's the stage gonna be? Where's the
Exactly,
tight
all
shot
of
gonna
those
be?
things. And part of what I have found surprising, I'm not criticizing anyone until we know the facts, but it was surprising to me when we see the map that this building, I guess, was outside of the perimeter and somehow maybe
But see,
not
that's the issue.
accounted
300
for.
yards is not outside the
I
perimeter
see.
when they have a permissible and visible shooting platform. The thing for me is that everyone, I hear this continually utilized, well, it's outside of the platform or perimeter or shooter. Who determines the distance on the perimeter? Your security advance team does.
And
so
they
when
failed.
you lay that out, if that was a private business, and I believe I saw earlier it was AGR or
Glass
something like
company,
this,
yes.
correct? You would actually have your law enforcement, your advance team go talk to the CEO there and say, hey, listen, we are obviously having a rally. We don't want it to disrupt your business. We want to make sure that you guys have the ability to come in and out of the parking lot so it doesn't disrupt things. But could we actually put someone on your rooftop to be able to provide additional oversight? I've never seen where we've been denied that opportunity. And even if they did, you would at minimum have at least said, well, can we at least make sure that any of the areas which is permissible to get to the rooftop, that we can place a security guy there or we can place a law enforcement officer?
This guy was carrying a ladder within look, if a normal perimeter is 300 yards, and you come back, you got a guy walking around carrying a ladder and a duffel or whatever, and where the president's going to be speaking, and he gets up you see him climbing the roof, and people are telling you you're climbing the roof. What I don't understand is they were making radio calls about this too, when they said that, that people were telling the police that there was a guy getting on the roof. Why didn't they stop the president right there and move him out of harm's way until it was cleared? I don't understand that either.
There.
And one thing I want to show our viewers, if we could put up the Doug Mills photograph, please, to just kind of underscore what the congressman has been talking about here. That is a picture of a bullet, right? You can see it circled there. You know, and I mean, Congressman, I welcome your comments on this as you have been discussing kind of just how close this call was.
This is what we call the vapor trail. And what you find is in days of higher humidity, you actually see this more clearly. This is the benefits of why when a sniper and their spotter will lay down in a prone position and overlap one another, it's so that while the recoil is absorbed by the shooter themselves, the spotter can actually watch the vapor trail of where the bullet's going so that if it didn't impact target, they can actually call for the follow-up corrections. So what you're seeing there is a vapor trail that's coming off of the actual bullet. Now the bullet is beyond the actual area of the circle that they're looking at right now. That is obviously the trailing area.
This is crazy.
The point is that you see that literally, as I stated earlier, milliseconds and millimeters matter. And the president is exceptionally blessed and fortunate, and thank God he had God's hand to protect him at this moment. But this is a huge security breach where...
Okay, this section, I actually pulled up the wrong section of this interview, and I'm not going to go back and do it again, but she gets to arguing with him about how this breach, he made the statement that he's not saying that it is a fact that this was kind of a planned breach, but he suggests that that's what they need to investigate. And she sounded incredulous. Are you blaming Joe Biden? No, I'm not blaming Joe Biden. I'm saying that this look, we've had enough really covert, weird plans by certain agencies of our government with 3 letters that that certainly in the history of this country could suggest that yes, someone in the government had something to do with it. Okay, let's not pretend and play Pollyanna and pretend like we don't know that. Okay, thank you. Reaction Puerto Rico's in the house, who says, "Look, man, first thing you do is a range card with distance." Yeah, exactly. That distance was, first of all, well within the normal perimeter of any Secret Service protectee. Good morning, Roasted Opinions. President Trump is lucky to only have a Nick Deere. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's I'm going to go into some articles now because speaking of this Secret Service director, and I can't remember, she didn't come from a military or a security background. She comes from, like, I can't remember what company, some company, and she's a friend of Jill Biden's. So in Breitbart, her name is Kimberly Cheadle. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle said in an interview Tuesday, a decision was made to put local law enforcement inside of that building. Now, remember, this guy's climbing on the roof while the local law enforcement are inside the building, which I still can't figure out. What were they doing inside the building if they're supposed to be protecting the perimeter of this event? But they're inside the building, and someone climbs on the roof while they're inside. The decision was made to put local law enforcement inside the building that gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks later climbed on top of to shoot former President Donald Trump, instead of the rooftop, due to the safety factor of putting someone on a sloped roof. Now, we saw the pitch of that roof in this video. Let's go back. I think it's right around here. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's somewhere in here. This is the sloped roof she was talking about. This, if you can see in the background here, that's the guy after they shot him. This is the pitch of this so-called sloped roof. We're not talking about like a sloped roof on a Gothic church in Germany, which is pretty much straight down. We're talking about a pitch that you could probably go roller skating on and not fall off. It's the idea that they didn't put them up there because it was a pitched roof or a sloped roof. Cheadle told ABC News, according to an excerpt that the Daily Mail published, quote, "That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point." And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof, and so that decision was made to secure the building from the inside. Secure the building from the inside? What good does it do to secure a building from the inside when the event is outdoors? They're not having the speech in the building. What are you securing inside of that building 150 yards away? You secure the building so no one gets up on the roof and shoots at the person speaking. Oh, wait. Isn't that what happened? Thank you, Avocados Diablo, dropping another tray saying, this is Maxwell Smart control level of competency. Yeah, for those of you who are familiar with Get Smart, exactly. I tell you. Holy shit. Chino's comments explain why the officers were inside the building that the 24-year-old Crooks climbed onto instead of on the rooftop, despite being the building being a staging and lookout point for local law enforcement assisting the Secret Service. While local law enforcement commonly supplements the Secret Service at special events such as campaign rallies, the Secret Service is in charge of the overall security plan. Cheadle is facing calls to resign after Crooks was able to get within 150 yards of Trump and fire at him 8 times, piercing his ear with a bullet. Now, WPXI Channel 11 News reported that Monday that a member of the Beaver County's Emergency Services Unit had spotted Crooks on the rooftop nearly 30 minutes before the shooting. Let's see if there's video on this one. Do they have the report here? Is this it? Here it is. A local police counter sniper team was stationed inside the building that Thomas Crooks crawled on top of. The building was a watch post for local police snipers to scan for threats, law enforcement sources told the New York Post. Sources told the Post that the local police sniper team was inside the building, but not on the roof where Crooks climbed and waited for Trump to begin speaking before firing off 8 shots. It's not clear which local law enforcement agency was inside the building. The Post reported that the building was swept by cops before the event and that the local sniper team used the building as a staging and lookout post. Well, what were they looking out at? They certainly weren't looking out at what was happening on that building. According to the outlet, an officer, blah, 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 blah. Where's the 30 minutes part? Okay. Another shocking report from local news station WPXI Channel 11 News said law enforcement spotted Crooks on the roof nearly 30 minutes before he fired at Trump. A source told Channel 11 that a member of the Beaver County Emergency Services Unit, which had 8 members at the rally, included snipers and spotters, noticed a suspicious man on a roof near the rally at 5:45 p.m. and called it in and took a picture of the person. It is not clear who was informed. Well, who the hell would they have called? Beaver County District Attorney Nathan Bible has previously confirmed to reporters that an emergency service unit in his county was also called in for event security. An executive at AGR International who owns the building, the local sniper team and the shooter were at, told the Washington Post that the company had worked with local police before the event on security matters and that police had blocked off access to the company's parking lot and that space was available for law enforcement use. So how did this kid get in there? Did they not check IDs? I don't know. This makes no sense. This makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, we'll put that in the links. Also, let's move to legal insurrection here. So now, also, this came up, and this is dumbfounding too. So apparently, they say that Trump had more Secret Service protection on Saturday because of an Iranian plot to assassinate him. That's funny how this pops up all of a sudden. Hello, Scrappy. What's up? Nice to have you here. This is CNN reported that former President Donald Trump had more security service protection on Saturday due to an Iranian plot to assassinate him. Thomas Crooks attempted to assassinate Trump on Saturday. The DHS sources told CNN no one had evidence that the would-be assassin Thomas Crooks had connections to Iran. Well, I'm sure that the Iranians, they were over here and they just said, hey, you know what? We need someone to do our dirty work for us. Let's find a 20-year-old kid who's not a very good shot, and we'll buy him a ladder. Maybe if we buy him a ladder, he'll be doing better. So here's the CNN report. A U.S. national security official said the Secret Service and Trump campaign were made aware of the threat before Saturday's rally. If they were made... This gets worse if this is true, that, they had a credible threat and they still failed to secure a perimeter more than 150 yards. Secret Service learned of the increased threat from this threat stream, the official told CNN. NSC directly contacted U.S. Secret Service at a senior level to be absolutely sure they continue to track the latest reporting. The Secret Service shared this information with the detail lead, and the Trump campaign was made aware of an evolving threat. In response to the increased threat, Secret Service surged resources and assets for the protection of former President Trump. All of this was in advance of Saturday. The Trump campaign would not disclose whether it was made aware of the Iran threat. We do not comment on the president's security detail. All questions should be directed to the United States Secret Service, the campaign said in a statement. Now, also security concerns forced Trump's campaign to halt spontaneous events where the Secret Service couldn't sweep guests. That's a new report. News sources, joint FBI DHS intelligence bulletin, assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Top line bulletin says attempt assassination reinforces our assessment that election-related targets are under heightened threat of attack. Yeah, and yet they still had some random 20-year-old inexperienced, non-trained gunman climb a roof filled with police officers and fire off shots at a former president of the United States. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. So let's see. Fox News. DHS received intel on Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. Here's the Fox report on it.
All right, a Fox News alert now, and some breaking news coming out. We've discovered something that makes the lack of security and the security lapses at the Donald Trump event in Butler, Pennsylvania, all the more glaring and literally impossible to understand. David Spunt, our Justice Department correspondent, has got the latest information. David?
Well, John, it's incredibly puzzling. We are learning right now through two federal law enforcement sources that in recent weeks there was a credible threat to former President Donald Trump from the Iranian regime. Now, I want to be clear that this is unrelated at this point to the alleged shooter, Thomas Crooks, the 20-year-old
Oh, really? They
in
didn't hire Thomas Crooks?
who attempted to assassinate the former president on Saturday night. But we are told via two sources that DHS and Secret Service and others in the law enforcement and intelligence community recently, through a human source, through one very good human source, got some intel on an attempted plot to assassinate former President Trump, increased his Secret Service presence. That's why you say it's all the more glaring and all the more puzzling in recent weeks. And John, we also know that DHS has been concerned and has expressed that concern to former President Trump's team about holding outdoor rallies. He likes to hold outdoor rallies, events, sometimes pop-up events. He'll meet with people. He's out and about very frequently. And that's been something. And when I say DHS because DHS oversees the United States Secret Service. We know that, when he was president, that he received a lot of threats from Iran because of the assassination of the General Qasem Soleimani.
Okay, I need to stop this shit. So they're bringing up Iran. I'm curious at how often Donald Trump receives threats from domestic sources. Like the guy who was walking down Kavanaugh Street, just domestic sources. Because the FBI loves to talk about how the greatest threat to our homeland security right now are domestic grown terrorists or domestic grown right-wing extremists, right? Except the vast majority of political violence comes from left-leaning political violence, right? I mean, unless you want to call it Antifa, and those jackholes who are the animal rights idiots. There's all kinds of them that break shit and hurt people. They're not. Those are not people from the right. And I'm gonna guess that this little shooter dude was not necessarily from the right. Oh, he's a registered Republican. Yeah, right. Whatever. I'll believe that when they pull out his manifesto that the FBI penned out before they put him up on that roof. I'm just saying. Real quick, thank you, Tyre, the thoughtful, a.k.a. Ty Alexander, dropping a trade bomb in the tip jar. Who says Trump needs to hire Mr. Magoo, Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, Wile E. Coyote, and Marvin the Martian. He would be far safer with them than the DEI hires of the Secret Service. That slope is either 10 to 15 degrees at best. This was a fucking op they tried to Abraham Trump. Or JFK or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. The excuse that they weren't on that roof because it was sloped. More sloped than your smooth brain, lady. I mean, come on. Hey, right here.
Come on, man.
Just crazy. So, let's see. In this, William Jacobson, who's the founder of Legal Insurrection, raised the issue on Saturday. It may be that the most obvious motivation for the attempted assassination of Trump was TDS based on domestic politics, but something about this doesn't seem right, and maybe the most obvious is not correct. We'll know more when the shooter is identified. Well, they did identify the shooter, but we're learning more about him too. So moving on. So like we said, the U.S. reportedly received intel of an Iranian plot to assassinate Trump, but this incident had nothing to do with it. If you want to learn more about that, it's in the Daily Caller. Daily Wire brings up a point that I made yesterday. In fact, if you haven't seen my short, it's out there. Share it far and wide, please. In fact, well, do that now. While you're on here, you could, well, no, don't do that now because then you'd miss the show. I did one of those little YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, whatever. It's the same thing. Just the scenario doesn't make sense whatsoever. So let's go through the Daily Wire official story. Excuse me. 72 hours after an assassination shot that nearly killed Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, here's the official story. Listen to this official story and see if this sounds good to you. A random 20-year-old acting completely alone walked within 150 yards of a presidential campaign rally with a rifle and a ladder, by the way, climbed onto a rooftop in full view of Secret Service snipers, set up his shot, and fired without anyone intervening and with no help from anyone. Now, I got to add something here. There was someone who intervened. Remember, there was a police officer who climbed up onto that roof and retreated because the gunman pointed his rifle at the officer, meaning the officer saw the rifle up close and personal, and then turned and quickly fired off 8 shots, one nicking the president in the ear. And now we know that 30 minutes before the shots, they saw him up there. And what did they do? What did they do? Did they do anything? Did they notify the Secret Service that there's someone on our roof here with a rifle? I mean, this is implausible. So anyway, this 20-year-old is also so politically radical as to attempt an assassination, and yet not radical enough to have ever posted any political writings or commentary on any social media site ever in his life. He also wrote no manifesto and left behind no indication about why he did it, even after authorities gained access to his phone. They say they still have no clues about his motivation. Yeah, they had no idea it was Hunter Biden's laptop and the computer that they got from that Seth Rich. Oh, no, there's nothing on there. And all we're told is that for some reason, he obviously wanted Donald Trump dead. There's just a handful of videos of the shooter circulating, including one in which he makes some weird sexual joke and one in which he appears briefly in a BlackRock video featuring his high school classroom. Other than that, it's as if he never existed. As far as we can tell, this man's last and only political act before attempting to kill the Republican candidate was to register as a Republican. Yes, just shocker. That's just a quinkydink. Oh, and apparently there were Trump signs outside of his parents' home where he was living. So here's another. What is this? I haven't seen this report. Oh, wait. This is an exclusive article. I didn't know the Daily Caller had exclusive articles. I wonder. Let me see something here. Let me check something. I'm going to try something here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're going to move on. I want to go through more of this article. Now, does this work? I don't think that works. Maybe. That did nothing. Anyway, we have no idea. Okay, so there were Trump signs out of his parents' home. And then we have no idea why these signs were outside the shooter's home. We have no clarity on this point whatsoever because none of this makes sense and no one is explaining anything. Nevertheless, you must believe the official narrative and ask no questions about it, or else you are a conspiracy theorist. And one thing we know about assassination attempts is that there's never, ever a conspiracy involved. As unbelievable and insulting as it is, this is the version of events you're being told to accept. But with every hour that goes by, it somehow makes even less sense than it did before. Every new detail is more baffling than the last. Last night, for instance, CBS News reported that several Beaver County police snipers were stationed inside the building the shooter eventually climbed on top of. They were supposedly looking for threats in the crowd at the rally. There were no officers or snipers on the roof for reasons that remain unexplained. Oh, we know now because it was a sloped roof. See, you cannot station yourself on a sloped roof for fear of slipping off if it rains or something. There were no officers or snipers on the roof for reasons remain unexplained, even though that'd be the rational spot to place these snipers. Yeah, because see, snipers always work better when they're inside a building near where they're supposed to be watching. That's if the snipers are inside the building, they can get a better shot from inside the building, not the roof of the building, but inside the building. But it's now an uncontested fact that the shooter used this police staging area as a vantage point to shoot Donald Trump. Now, according to local outlet Beaver Countyan, that's like someone who's trying to figure out how many bodies they have. Anyway, which broke the story, quote, a security operations plan that placed each of the 3 counter snipers inside the building looking out of windows towards the rally and with none stationed on the roof. Due to lack of manpower, the men did not have spotters assigned to them as would be standard operating procedure. So maybe the excuses is that they couldn't spare anyone to watch the roof. They just ran out of people. Obviously, we didn't know exactly who drafted that security operations plan because that person should never be in charge of any security operation again. Ding. Nevertheless, roughly a half hour before the shooting started, these snipers positioned inside the building saw the 20-year-old shooter without his rifle, looking up at the roof, observing the building before he disappeared and then came back and sat down. This was so suspicious that one of the snipers inside the building took a photo of the gunman. Additionally, according to a separate local news station, a law enforcement officer had previously seen Crooks on the ground and called him in as a suspicious person with the picture before 5:45 p.m. Officers supposedly looked around but couldn't immediately find him. Just a review. Let's review this. The man was on the radar of the security forces at the rally 30 minutes before he fired his first shot, and he fired on top of the very same building where police were staged. Already 30 minutes before the crime took place, they had enough reason to detain the guy and delay the rally. But it gets even worse. Here we go. At one point, in full view of the snipers inside the command post, the gunman took out a rangefinder, prompting the police to snipe. Oh my God, prompting the police sniper to radio his command post. That means that he alerted the Secret Service to the threat, but still no one detained the man and no one pulled Trump off the stage, even though there's only one reason a suspicious person would be using a rangefinder right outside of a Trump rally. And everyone knows what it is. There is no conceivable innocent reason for a guy to be lurking around the side of a campaign rally with a rangefinder, or if there is an innocent reason, the innocent reason is significantly less plausible than this sinister reason. Yet nothing was done. So the man disappeared again and came back a third time, this time carrying a backpack. And once again, the snipers called in to their command post explaining that the suspicious man was now walking towards the back of the building, but nobody stopped him. Nobody took any physical action to prevent what they could evidently see coming. So, apparently, all these reports prompted some police officers to call for backup and try to scale the roof to stop the shooter, but they obviously failed to do so. The gunman climbed on top of the building using an air conditioning unit, not a ladder, as previously reported, and fired several shots at Trump before he was taken out. So, what explains why Donald Trump wasn't taken off the stage at any point in the process until the gunman shot him in the head? Why didn't Secret Service snipers on the roof behind Trump take out this shooter before he was able to open fire? Now, if you look at some of the videos from the rally, you'll notice that initially the snipers behind Trump appear to be relaxed at first. They're standing up. They're not in prone position, looking through their rifle scopes. But then some people in the bleachers see something. They start pointing, and eventually the Secret Service snipers go prone, clearly responding to the threat, and they have clips here. I'm not going to play them. This is so much more a serious failure than we were told it was. This is not a case of the Secret Service somehow failing to notice the shooter. They clearly knew he was there, or that some potentially imminent threat was very close to the stage. We know from the video. We know it from the reporting. At a minimum, they had a reason to think that Trump was in imminent danger, but they essentially did nothing in response. They let Trump take a bullet to the head before they addressed the threat in any way. Now, according to the Biden administration, you shouldn't be outraged or concerned about any of this. Yesterday, the head of the DHS, Alejandro Mayorkas, explained that he has 100% confidence in the director of the Secret Service, whom he oversees. Here's Mayorkas' sorry ass.
Does the president have confidence in the Secret Service director after Saturday's failures?
I have 100% confidence in the director of the United States Secret Service.
How?
I have 100% confidence in the United States
How?
Secret Service. And what you saw on stage on Saturday
How?
with respect to individuals putting their own lives at risk for the protection of another is exactly what the American public should see every single day. It is what I
shouldn't have gotten that far where they would have to do that. This is a clear breach of protocol. You got to be kidding me. He's indignant that someone would even ask that question. Holy shit, what a douchebag. Let me see something here. Here's a report from the other.
Investigators dressed in plain clothes as well as FBI agents approach this house. That's where the family of Thomas Crooks lives, which is right here on Milford Drive. Then we started to see those agents going door to door, canvassing the neighborhood and speaking with people who live here. They're trying to get answers to the many questions that still remain.
Okay, I don't care about that. The other report here. Oh, this is just when the Secret Service agents were relaxed, and then all of a sudden they got alerted. Hello, Robert Banks. How you doing? So anyway, this is the same Alejandro Mayorkas who claims the border is completely secure. Now he's saying he has 100% confidence in the director of the Secret Service 3 days after the Secret Service allowed the leading presidential candidate to take a headshot from a rifle while he delivered a speech on stage. Yes, that makes sense. The only conceivable way you'd have 100% confidence in this agency and the people who lead it is if you're absolutely fine with that outcome. Yup, that's about right. Hello, Black Hebrew.
Hammer time.
Oops, what the hell? Hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
At this point, it's not really a conspiracy theory to say that the Biden administration apparently thinks Saturday's assassination attempt was acceptable. Whoa, that's harsh. This is their editorial, YouTube. They would fire the people who allowed this to happen, but they aren't. Saying you have 100% confidence in the Secret Service after an incident like this is like looking out over the wreckage of a collapsed bridge and declaring that you have 100% confidence in the engineering team that designed it. 100% confidence? Not like 90% confidence or 73% confidence. Their utter and total catastrophic failure has not lost them even 1 percentage point of confidence in your book, Alejandro Mayorkas? And it's not just DHS secretaries saying this. Last night, Joe Biden was asked by Lester Holt about the director of the Secret Service. He made it clear he has no problems with the director's performance. He also made it clear he had no idea who the director is because he said, I've heard from him, even though the director of the Secret Service is a woman. Wait a minute. Wait. Is this it? Let me play this clip. It's 22 seconds. I can do it.
Is it acceptable that you have still not heard, at least publicly, from the Secret Service director?
Oh, I've heard from him.
Have you heard from her publicly?
He said, I've heard from... Wait, wrong one.
Situation room downstairs. The Secret Service...
I've heard from him?
Publicly from the Secret Service director?
Oh, I've heard from him.
He said him. I've heard from him. What a dope. Holy shit. So anyway, Biden may not be sure who the director of the Secret Service is, but he's sure that he or she or whoever is doing a great job, as evidenced by the fact that her agents nearly got his chief political rival killed. And of course, because no one in the Biden administration has any shame whatsoever. The Secret Service director has said she has no intention of stepping aside. It's just like the pullout from Afghanistan, which directly resulted in the deaths of several U.S. service members. No one resigned after that debacle. No one was fired. No one in the government seemed to care, frankly. And we're seeing a repeat after the single most significant security failure by the Secret Service since the attempt on Ronald Reagan's life. Actually, it's worse than that. Based on everything we know now, we can say with a high degree of confidence that this is the worst security failure by the Secret Service in its history. But no one in any position of authority in the agency or outside of it will be held accountable in any way whatsoever. That's why it's holy shit, it's insane. Let's see. Now I have a couple more articles, but I'm not going to get to them. But this is in the front page. Oh, but thank you. Avocado Diablo, by the way, dropped a 3 in a tip jar. Says, listen here. That sloping roof would have been super hard for the tranny drag queen and queer cops they hired for diversity to get on top of with those stiletto heels. Yes. This shouldn't be so hard for you to understand. Well, I wasn't taking into account the fact that they're probably wearing, 7-inch stilettos with those stupid front heels. So maybe that would have been difficult to, navigate that 10-degree pitched roof. Thank you, Avocado Diablo. Appreciate it. Oh my God. Anyway, so Lloyd Billingsley wrote an article in Front Page Magazine that the Secret Service corruption and incompetence is no secret. Oh, there's the one lady hiding behind the other agents. So there's a long article on that. In Federalist, Biden's team deliberately kneecapped Trump's security to allow an assassination attempt. So this is an editorial too by Sean Davis. I do know that I just heard about this today too. Apparently the First Lady had some event in Pennsylvania, not too far from where Trump's rally was. And they did take some people from Trump's detail to bolster her detail. At least that's the report I read earlier today. They kept the rooftop open and watched the shooter, kept Trump on stage, and didn't do a damn thing until after he had been shot. And we're supposed to believe that it was an innocent oopsie. So that's, you can read the article by Sean Davis. Oh, by the way, I was looking for synonyms for incompetence for the title of the show today. So there you go. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today because I'm out of time. But please share this with your friends and neighbors. In fact, I got an idea. Here's what I want you to share. I'm going to put this link out in the chat. Copy and paste it. This is my, I had a short video yesterday. Give me a moment. Oh my gosh, this is so slow. My computer's so slow. It's faster than when I have, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that? It is faster than when God damn it. My videos. There we go. This is crazy how long this is taking. All right. I want you to share this YouTube short with your friends and neighbors. I'll put the link to in the chat. Share that video with everyone you know. That's just basically it's a synopsis of the show today in a 40-second video. Other than that, hey, I got to go, but I will be back tomorrow for FTG Thursday and Friday for Q&A day. So please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your social media horde to come join us. And I didn't say whores, your horde. And that's it for today. Thank you. I do have to go now. I will drop all these links in the chat and in the description of YouTube video. Gotta go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.